That's a serious tongue lashing.
And it's
Also, they do not send the card digitally. It's coming in the mail.
Oh my, no.
I'm not kidding.
serious?
Okay.
not a new place.
Physically,
Not
So
a new
they
place.
didn't get you
Physically
anything,
coming in
Nick,
the
is what I'm hearing.
This episode is made possible by our partners, Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett. From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. Broadcasting from the churn, that's Dr. Jim, that's Whitney, I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
So many of you were concerned after the last episode when we announced that we fired Whitney, that we were going to bring her back. The interview process went very poorly.
No, that's true. Technically, one person was concerned.
Yeah, there was that. Well, that's true.
Nick, I know you were concerned.
One person
No, it
on the
wasn't
Discord's
anybody in
like,
this room.
"Hey, I don't know if they're fucking around or not. What's the deal with Whitney?"
It was
and
so
then
precious.
somebody tagged her was like, "Oh no, there's like a secret card over here." So happy anniversary!
Thank you.
Yay!
Thanks.
You've been with us
I
for
made
1
it.
year.
I started with
Congratulations.
sushi. So
It did. It started
here we go.
sushi last year.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Nick lost that year.
Yeah.
And then you decided to
Step
protect
in.
him from losing.
Take the L.
Take the L.
Well, you got last year you got free sushi without
I
participating in the
did.
bet.
That's
No, I
true.
paid for myself.
Oh, did you?
Oh, you didn't have Nick pay for it.
I didn't.
Wow, what a
Oh.
classy move.
That's a
Nope.
shame.
Oh.
Yeah.
You missed out on that opportunity.
I did. I didn't want to be a shithead from like
No.
day one.
There's
you know?
no way that any of us even contemplated that you should pay for that sushi.
No.
We
I
don't
all,
know.
I think
cared.
including
I
Nick,
met
just
y'all,
assumed
like,
that Nick
the
was
day
paying for that
before.
sushi.
I did too. I don't even remember
I thought
that.
we all got a
I
plus
did.
one. I thought that was part of the bet.
I believe it was
That is
this
not.
year.
That is not.
I think
No.
that's the terms. Friends and family eat free.
I'm bringing my buddy Hugo Big Stomach Lard. His last name is genuinely Lard. It's horrible. Don't
But
make
it
fun
was
of that.
apropos. He's very sensitive and
But
very
he eats
hungry.
so much sushi,
Oh,
and he
no.
insists on ordering a la carte.
He won't even eat the all you can eat.
No,
I only want sashimi. All of the sashimi. Please bring it all to me. 1 year in, congratulations.
Thanks.
We tried to get rid of you, but you came back.
I know.
So,
I don't give up that easily.
no, you did not. Honestly, I am impressed that you have endured a year with us.
Thanks.
It has
It's been tough.
It's been really
I
fun.
would have lost that
we're
bet.
delightful.
Yeah, this is great. We're charming. It's funny though, because last time around we didn't have you. I missed you. There was an absence.
I miss you guys too, and I miss a week. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, it was
Fuckers.
fun.
Did we record without Whitney recently?
I hate
did.
you, Jacob. I hate you so much. You're out.
I believe that you still impersonated her for a good percentage
I
of the
felt
show.
like I was still here.
Yeah, yeah, and it was
Jacob's
indistinguishable. I don't think people could tell the difference. But
Oh my gosh.
I listened to the episode. It was like I was there.
and why wouldn't you? Pew pew, Texas.
Oh my
She does say that a lot.
She does that. It's practically her catchphrase.
It is.
Pew pew.
Oh my
Texas.
gosh. Can I just say though, Peter and I were listening to the episode just like yesterday.
You
or the day
listened to
before.
it?
Wow.
I did this time because I wanted to see.
Rule
what was
number
up.
one: never listen
Amazing.
to episodes
Especially,
you're not on.
well, actually,
Or are
what
on.
triggered me was when somebody said, "Did they really can Whitney?" I'm like, "What the fuck did these guys say on
Oh
here?"
yeah, that gets
So
us. Yeah.
then I went on and listened. I was like,
Oh.
"Okay,
See, Whitney, Nick, is a different person than Jim.
Oh, here it goes. I knew you were
Okay.
going to do this. You're making it about me.
I already know.
Because
I almost quit the show
When
with it.
Jim missed an episode, I'm sure Nick or I'm sure it was probably me who instigated it because it sounds like a me thing to do.
Yep.
Just said go on social media and talk about how this is the best episode ever of Pod Therapy
Yeah,
and
first one I missed.
how Jim was not missed at all.
Yeah. So everybody did what they were told.
Okay.
Yes,
Because they're
everybody,
all assholes.
Everybody
Well
did
done, well
exactly
done.
what they were supposed to do.
100%
Bravo,
of them.
everyone involved, especially me and Nick.
Most social media engagement we've ever had in the history of the show.
Well
People I
played,
didn't know didn't listen
everyone.
to the show. Like everybody's just wow.
Yeah.
Celebrities,
Your mother was very vocal.
Oh yeah,
about
my mom was in on it. Everybody's like, it was just really good. I don't
But
know what the
unlike
difference
Whitney,
was.
who was like, what the fuck did those guys say?
Yeah.
Jim just goes into his own little Jim spiral.
Yes.
And he was like,
Yeah.
oh,
He's texted you guys.
I guess I'm not needed.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it.
I'll see myself out.
So I just get really emotional. I'm like, fuck this show. I don't need this bullshit. And so like the next show, I'm like, yeah, so anyway, and they're like, did you listen to it? No.
and I'm pretty sure we even did it early in the show. So like it wasn't
would
like
be-
it
was
wasn't
not
like
have to like
listen an hour in or
Yeah.
something. Like
No.
just listen to the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, that's,
Bit over.
yeah, that's about what we did. But we were dying laughing when y'all did the performance review.
Oh, that's right.
And
The annual review.
yeah. And I think Jim had said, oh, yeah, it was definitely because of the sexual harassment. And Nick goes, and we're not going to stop. We lost. Just all of it. I was like, oh my God.
You know what you signed up for.
I know. I was like, damn.
We had you sign so many waivers.
There were a lot of waivers. It took quite a while.
Yes.
Made me nervous, but here we
The
are.
DocuSign automatic has never been used.
I didn't even read any of them.
As you should.
Yeah,
Well,
I
they're
just-
not in English.
No,
so,
that's
yeah,
true.
Egyptian
Yeah.
hieroglyphics
Yeah.
are admissible in court. Well, happy anniversary and happy
you.
birthday,
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
You are
Which is an
aging
anniversary in and of itself.
It is, yes.
Year around the sun. So
Yes.
hope you enjoy your
So
gifts.
this will be great. So it lines up perfectly. So
Every
that
year.
you will never forget my birthday, and I'll never forget your
Nope.
anniversary of Pod Therapy. So
Never.
perfect.
And we will always celebrate your anniversary by giving Nick gifts. So
By making me pay for sushi. How I feel like
just
this is going
win.
to be celebrated.
Just win.
I mean, I feel like either you or Nick will be paying for sushi.
I mean, honestly,
it
there's,
always is. It just always
hold on.
is.
No,
I'm gonna
there's a
try
chance
next
we could
year.
have another pandemic.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
There's a
That's true. That bailed me out
Wait.
once.
I did,
Yeah, it
yeah.
did. Yeah. So,
So, Nick, you've lost every other year?
yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I think
Nick and I have been playing March Madness Bet for Food since 2014. He has never won. So this is 10 years in a row.
and after this
Damn.
year, because I haven't been with it as long as the guys
6.
have.
He's been
Jacob
6
would
of
have
them.
but
lost
though if I didn't.
Yeah, Jacob would have been on the low end.
I would have been, but I'm not.
You're welcome.
Thank God.
And I haven't been any other year
You're
either.
welcome.
That's right.
The only person who has never paid for sushi is this guy over here.
Oh.
That's
Okay,
true. That's
okay.
true. I have one sushi.
Next
and
year I
then
might retire.
Lost it. Yeah, with the belt.
Yeah.
There was one where I had won sushi from Jacob in some kind of side bet, and then he got me on a double for nothing or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I gave it away.
wasn't it? It was
I don't
like
remember what it was.
instantly.
I was
It was like within a minute.
Yeah.
It was same show.
Yeah, I think it was the same
I don't remember
show.
what it was.
Yeah, I had won a bet. And he was gonna have to buy me sushi. And then he got to another one. He's like, "Hey man, double or nothing? Like, you want to go for 2 sushis?" And I was like, "Oh my god, that'd be amazing! That'd be really fun. We could go out twice."
And it was just gone.
yeah, just really fast too.
Gambling. That's how that
I've gotten a
works.
lot better in the 6 years of this show.
He really has.
I've
He
also
sincerely
lost
has.
everything I have. So I mean, it got rock bottom.
I'm not
really
getting pissed off at Nick, honestly, for the beginning of the show, introducing him as Dr. Jim Jobin.
Yeah.
you know
The
what? I
doctorate
keep-
has been surrendered.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to fix the
Yeah.
script right
There
now.
you go. Yeah,
Taking
should
that
be
right out of there.
removed. So.
Former Dr. Jim
There
Jobin.
we go.
Jim,
I'm fine
formerly
with
known as
former.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's safely tucked away
Yeah.
along
Yeah.
with Nick's tamping thing. So Jacob is the holder of many things. He just has a garage full of our shit. That's the Pod Therapy Museum of shit.
I do need I need Jim's actual PhD to hang on my wall.
I think you
above
could
your
go
bar.
order. Let's just go order one.
That
Say,
would be-
request a new one.
No. I don't want a new one. I want the real one.
What's the one in
No,
glass?
it's a new one. It's the
No,
same.
I honestly thought that I love that bar, but there was something missing.
Yeah.
A PhD.
Yeah.
You're right.
Specifically Jim's
And
PhD.
then just never explain it. Like,
Yeah.
just,
Oh,
it's
no.
a trophy wall. Like, he's
Yeah.
got, like, my deed to my house.
Yeah.
Like,
I
pink
am gonna
slips.
I
Card title.
need that PhD. I assume you have it framed somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need the framed PhD
Yeah.
to put on my bar for Scoop Fest.
Okay, yeah, that I should actually do
yeah.
that.
No,
That
I'm
would
really
actually-
gonna need it for that.
That really is a funny idea.
It is
It's
mine.
pretty good.
It is.
Gambling problem. God damn you. You've betrayed me. I was told it would be better than this.
If he doesn't give it to you, I do have the contact information for the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
So
we can
Yeah.
we can just
Take it up
surrender
with
that.
them.
Yeah. I won
I mean,
this
that's gotta
fair
be
and
that's gotta
square.
be an ethical violation, right?
Underground.
It's got to be. Yeah. Yeah. Of
Has
course,
this
gambling
profession
with
no
contract.
integrity?
Yeah.
He lost it on a podcast in good faith. All right, we got great questions today. Who do you want to do trivia in the first episode? You want me to do it?
No, I can do it.
Okay, I'll take number 2 then. That'll
Cool.
be fun. So it'll be a good one. We got some great questions in today's episode. First one, Supervision and ACR from Theraproducer Hannah Marie. Hi, guys, and Whitney. Thanks for answering my question on self-esteem and external validation. I'm too lazy to write a proper update, so I'll just say things have gotten much better. I'm writing in with a couple of general therapy questions. Question number 1. Prompted by comments on Discord for episode 325 about how therapists can be isolated,
Oh yeah, I read those.
I do not believe you.
Correct.
I don't even think you know how to get into the Discord. How does supervision work for United States therapists? Does it continue after qualification? I'm not a therapist, but as far as I understand, in the United Kingdom, the main accrediting bodies for therapists require regular supervision for qualified therapists to remain registered. I've had therapists with 10 to 15 years experience mention to me that they will discuss sessions with their supervisor and reassured that they won't share names or identifiable information. Question number 2, what is accelerated resolution therapy? I saw this mentioned on a Reddit thread, risky place for therapy content, as we've all learned, and it's combination of CBT and EMDR that works faster. Is it a gimmick, or is it actually useful? Thanks, Hannah Marie. Good questions.
What do you want to start with? Let's start with number 1, since that was the first one.
I think everybody but Nick should answer that question.
Numerically, that's...
Which one?
The supervision one. Wasn't that the first one?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Isn't that what you do?
Yeah.
Let's start with Jacob.
Kind of.
I'm like, let's start with Jacob.
I don't, yes and no. So I provide training and technical assistance to therapists in the state.
Okay.
So I don't really necessarily do.
He's hiding it.
You're not on the microphone, so no one can hear you. But I am involved in supervision in the sense of I also sit on the panel for the oral exams for people who are testing. To be
Okay.
Yeah, he does.
on a license and whatnot. But yeah, so I guess the question, so does it continue after qualification? So supervision, not formally, right? So some people do an informal continuation of supervision, or they'll join a group of therapists that will have
a podcast.
Basically,
Yeah.
after the show, we do
This
a lot
is
of
supervision,
consulting.
right? My
A
bad,
lot
guys.
of that shit organized.
Basically what's known as peer supervision, where it's not something that you formally, have arrangements on. You don't take notes, document, or have to report to the board.
But they'll make you
it's
feel
just
shitty if you're doing something stupid.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so
You will be
Yeah.
shamed.
You should be.
Yeah, it's like a
too.
group of therapists. Maybe it was you.
I believe it's called a gaggle.
Somebody was telling me about this. A therapist in the community that was part of a book club where they would get together and they would read books on therapy, and then they would talk about them, and that was kind of their peer supervision.
You and I tried that
Just
Oh my.
a couple of times.
yeah, one of us read the books.
This is like a group project in high school. We
Yeah.
both know you're the
So
guy.
is.
You're the guy who read the
Tell me
thing.
what you
I'm
read.
the presenter at the end of the project. That's the bit. That's what we have. I just read the thing you wrote.
So no, not in a formal sense. It doesn't really continue after fully licensed, but we do have CEUs, continuing education units, that we have to continue to do every couple of years to maintain our license. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things before I branched out into private practice. I tried to make a note to ask other clinicians that I knew or knew through someone what their advice was going into private practice, especially ones that had years and years of experience.
Right.
And that was one of the number one things shared. Even a particular woman I'm thinking of, she just said to me, she's like, well, I'm not really sure, couldn't really think of much. Then she's like, except that you need to find people that you can discuss cases with. That was her only feedback, really. Hey, it can get really lonely, just like the writer said.
Yep.
And you need someone to kind of share where you're at, because just like Jacob said, before you say something stupid, do something stupid, having that accountability is really
You got to
important.
nudge on it.
Just be like,
Yeah.
hey, you're fucking up.
You're dumb.
Yeah, don't do that. That's unethical.
That helps. Yeah, so just to kind of make sure everybody is on the same page with it, some of the question, I think some of the answer skips over for folks that don't know any of the anatomy of how this works. So when a therapist in America starts their journey, they go to grad school. Well, first they go get a bachelor's, then they go to grad school, and that goes about 2 or 3 years. And then during that time, they get to be a therapist at a student level. So they kind of do free therapy, and they're taught by professors and by clinicians out in the field. Then when they graduate, they kind of enter what we usually call in our state internship. Other states call it associate status. And for about 2 or 3 years, you go out into the world, you do therapy, but you're overseen by a mentor. And I think across all disciplines, we call that a supervisor for the most part.
Yeah.
So at the end of that time, that 2 or 3 year window, you take national exams, you're interviewed by the board, and your supervisors sign off that they believe that you're ready. And then you graduate again, so to speak, and you become a fully licensed independent therapist. Nick and I interviewed a British therapist years ago and asked this person, how does all that work over there? And we were surprised to discover that they did not have a licensing board. It is not government regulated.
Okay.
So the government and no province or state oversees the disciplines.
Okay.
Instead, they have their own completely, basically optional professional organization that's created that self-regulates the discipline, but with no legal authority. So it's like a club, and you have to meet certain requirements in order to join the club, and the club will require you to be overseen by members of the club who have kind of like higher status than you. And then if you are in good standing, insurances in the United Kingdom will then pay for your services because you're registered with the club. It's called like the BPS.
So it's kind of like a board, but just works differently than our board.
Without legal authorities.
Yeah.
So completely voluntary organization.
So they can't remove your licensure? Is that what you
No,
mean by
they
that?
can kick you out of the club.
I
They can
see.
revoke your
Okay.
membership in BPS.
It's like an ASW.
Which,
Right.
yeah. So which probably has some consequence.
It does.
Okay.
Is that like
Like
the,
like the
paying
food
attention?
rating, like the
Right.
grade you see on restaurants. So like,
Yeah.
oh, this restaurant has an A
That's
grade.
kind of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
except
Okay.
those grades are government,
Or
but
the
this is not.
FDA.
So like if you get kicked out of the club, then when you're advertising out in the world, so first off, you can't advertise on their website, which is like their Psychology Today, so it's
Yeah.
pretty big.
Okay.
And then 2, when people look you up, they won't see that you're a BPS member in good standing, and that could affect how they shop, but you can still practice.
They'd be like, why aren't they?
Nobody gets to regulate your legal powers to practice. Whereas in America,
Ever? Like,
if you
you
try
can
to
just-
practice any healthcare discipline without a
Yeah.
license, there are legal consequences to impersonating somebody. Like you don't have a license.
Not if you just say you're a life coach.
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole bit.
That's-
That's 6
That's the
years
end
of the
around.
joke. That's the
the
end
loophole.
around. So anyway, that's how it works out there. But yeah, they're both right here. Once that supervision window is complete and you're fully licensed, you do not legally require any more supervision or mentorship for your license except in 2 scenarios. One, if you work for a practice and you have a clinical director, you answer that person. They are your employer, and so they have authority to check your stuff. And they will tell you what to do because you work for them. They are the boss. Or if you are trying to get that supervisor status yourself, then you will go back into supervision again from like a supervisor who teaches supervisors. And then you are starting to mentor new therapists and they are mentoring you simultaneously. So that's how that works. Accelerated, results therapy? Is that what it is? ACR? Yeah, ARC.
ARC. Accelerated Resolution Therapy.
So I've seen it. Basically, there's a handful of new therapeutic approaches that are interested in using your eye movement as a way to sort of access some of what they believe to be memory and the way you process short versus long-term memory. And on the show, we've talked about eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. There's another technique called brain spotting. And this ARC or whatever it is basically an abbreviated version of those. Both of them have to do with where your eyeballs are moving as you are considering or talking about trauma. In this method, I believe you do not talk about the trauma, you just think about the trauma, and you're moving your eyes bilaterally following the hand movements of the therapist while you are thinking about that. And then there's another component, which is kind of cognitive behavioral therapy driven, where you consider what you wish would have happened in the history of that trauma, which taken separately, none of these ingredients are new. They've all been used for a long time. Wishing for difference and narrating a different possibility for trauma is a component in old school reprocessing trauma. We call it re-narrating, where you narrate yourself as a survivor of something to remove things like guilt and shame and powerlessness, and we reframe it for your brain. So none of that's necessarily new, which I think gives it the essence of evidence-based. I think you could argue that there's nothing about this that should make you think it wouldn't be helpful. But I also get a little bit sniffly about somebody repackaging familiar ingredients into a new cake and then patenting that cake and having trainings all over the world about how to build their cake.
Totally.
Yeah, it gets a little weird. When you're like,
very
oh,
weird.
if you like Oreos, wait till you hear about Oreo cream pie. It's like, so you just like blended Oreos with vanilla ice cream? No. I made
is that
a
what that means?
special.
Thank God, it was
Okay,
vanilla
yeah.
ice cream.
Everyone was
pending.
really waiting.
Patent.
I was like, I've got a joke in here somewhere.
It's coming. It is
Well, that's how you get the cream
That's how
pie.
you get the cream pie.
Oh,
There it is.
That's how that works.
You can't tee him up like that. He has to swing at those. He can't just let him hit the ground.
Yeah, can't help it.
So anyway, yeah, no reason not to try it. I mean, I'm for it. But one of the issues in our field has been a little bit of the repackaging things into some sexy new nomenclature and then running around telling new therapists, hey, I've got this brand new, really cool idea, and making it functionally a pyramid scheme, where you're getting trained in it. So that irks me.
I've as you guys have been talking, I've just been kind of looking through
Yeah, what'd you find?
one of the benefits of
What'd
working
Google
for
say? What'd Reddit say?
Oh, you got into the research pool?
yeah, one of the benefits of working for a university is you have access to all this research and studies. So just at a quick glance, I mean, it seems like, one of the first things that pops up that I looked at is how it's used within the military for training for therapy for PTSD.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And one of the big things that they're looking at there is actually it being very beneficial as a cost-saving measure
Okay.
because it's faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that.
So there was that. But then the other thing, too, here is I'm seeing that really there's not a whole lot of research involved or out there with it yet. So there's primarily like 3 studies, one randomized control trial with 57 subjects, and then 2 large cohort studies with 80 and 117 subjects respectively. So there's just not a whole lot out there yet, but it looks like it's showing to be effective, but you can't, we don't know.
This goes back to something that I've really found fascinating when I was researching for that 7 Sins thing. Any theory in the hands of a fundamentally effective therapist will be successful.
Yeah.
And it really just shows
That's
you.
what research actually says.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
saying, Bo Jackson, did he just play the right kind of sport? Like, no, he's fucking Bo Jackson. He's one of the greatest athletes alive. You could put him on any sport, and he will be really good at
No
that.
one looks at Bo Jackson and is like, yeah, but what kind of bat did he use?
Right, yeah. His strategy.
Let me use that bat.
followed
I bet if he
this-
didn't
yeah.
have that bat, he wouldn't have been as
that
good as baseball.
Exactly.
Like, no. He was
the
fucking good.
shoes. Yeah,
Michael Jordan with Adidas wouldn't have worked out.
That's obvious. He has to be wearing his own shoes.
Right.
But that's how it is with
I
therapists.
mean, he wouldn't be a multi-billionaire.
There's
today.
that
that's
too.
for sure.
You give a great therapist any strategy and they will be successful. And the reason why is because we have oodles of research that shows the most important ingredient in any therapeutic success is the therapeutic relationship. And ultimately, like the humanness of that therapist to establish a connection genuinely, be disarming, achieve honesty, achieve cathartic rapport. These are fundamental ingredients that are, by the way, not fucking easy to do, which is one of the reasons that I think we have a lot of therapists. And I was just talking to somebody today, a new patient, who's like, I've seen, like, I think this person said something to the effect of 7 therapists in 3 years. And this person, very, very kind, very motivated, really wanted to do this, wasn't, a difficult person, didn't come off as like fickle or, problematic, just wasn't making any progress with 7 different people. And it could have been a case study. It was so fascinating to listen to this person tell me about these therapists. I'm like, can you give me an idea of what wasn't working so that I can make sure I don't make those mistakes? Well, one of them only works part-time. And like, I was very concerned, like, is this your side hustle or is it your profession? And I was like, oh, yeah, like a good percentage of our field part-times at this.
Yeah.
Like, it's a problem, right? And so, and just one by one, like it was almost like every like main complaint of the profession, this person had bumped into like the 7 deadly therapists. Like, it was really fascinating. Just like every problem had happened. It's like one of them was trying to like do magnet shit on my brain.
They were texting while we were in session.
Texting while you're in
Just
session. Yeah, magnets. So a lot of woo. Anyway. But yeah, I think this is a fine theory. It doesn't bother me if you're working with somebody that's like, hey, I'm passionate about this. I believe in it. It helps. Great, whatever. Defer to their judgment. Lean in on the work because there's nothing about this that's wooey. The ingredients are fine. That's all great. Eye movement reprocessing. I've never seen strong longitudinal hard data for it. But essentially, the reprocessing work is strongly
Yeah.
evidence-based.
Yeah. That's
So
what I was
great.
thinking.
If I have you moving your eyes across a plane or coloring while you're doing the reprocessing, great. Do the reprocessing, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're doing that work, I think it's meaningful. So
Yeah.
great question, Hannah Marie. Thank you for
Yeah.
sponsoring the show. We love having you. And I didn't realize you were not American, but based on your question, I now know that.
And that matters to Jim.
Oh, it matters.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it matters to Jim a
It's
lot.
an issue.
Oh.
As you will see in the trivia I have prepared.
Oh my gosh.
That is relevant. So
not
going to
about
take
basketball.
a quick break, and when we come, it is not. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about breaking up with my therapist. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's session is brought to you by Robert Brownie Jr., Mint, Kayla Lansbury, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Lib, and Heyo. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. All right. This week's trivia, important historical dates. Okay.
Oh no.
I did make these multiple choice
Okay.
because I know the people
December
I'm dealing with.
25th in the year 0.
Oh, shit.
What is it?
He got it.
What is it?
0.
In
Okay.
Canada. It's like,
What?
December 7th, 1941.
Wait, we just have to fucking
Oh,
know what
Buzz?
these are? Wow.
I'll give you. Let's tell you what. I'll give you
Oh.
2 points
For the
if
blind.
you can get it. 2 points for the blind.
Okay.
1 point for multiple
Classic
choice.
Pod Therapy rules.
Okay.
wait.
Well,
2
Whitney
points
buzzed.
Oh, okay.
Do you,
So you can go for 2.
this is
Okay.
before I did the rules. So do you want to stick with your buzz or would you like to retract your buzz?
I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay,
think.
then you're up.
I also want it.
I know. Jacob knows that I know, so
Oh, go
he
ahead,
can't
go
go
ahead.
first. Is it D-Day?
It is not.
Oh.
What was the
it's
date
not?
again?
December
December
7th, 1941.
A day that will live in
In
infamy.
God damn it.
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor.
Shit.
That was
Correct.
It. I knew
Pearl
that.
Harbor sucks.
One of
Okay.
those.
I miss you.
That
41. Yeah.
that is the only one that you guys are going to get on the fly.
All right.
I'll tell you that right
All
now.
right.
March 22nd, 1903.
Fucking dumb.
Buzz, the original March Madness. Oh,
And who was the winner that year?
1903.
The white guys.
1903. Here are your choices.
All right,
Sorry, what was
choices.
the date again?
March,
December what?
March 22nd, 1903.
Great.
I think
Okay.
The year is the only thing going to help us.
A. Amelia Earhart is the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic.
God, was it that early?
B. First successful blood transfusion.
Oh, maybe.
C. Jesse James is killed. Or
No.
D. Niagara Falls runs dry due to a drought.
Oh, my God.
What was B again? Sorry.
Blood
B was the
transfusion.
first successful blood transfusion.
So it's Amelia Earhart, blood transfusion, Jesse
Jesse
James,
James.
and Niagara Falls.
I'm going
Yes.
to take Jesse James. That feels pretty close to the right time.
Okay.
That was a good book. The
Niagara
assassination of
Falls.
Jesse James
The
by
coward.
the cowardly,
Yeah, the coward. Yeah.
whatever his name was.
Yeah.
You taking Niagara Falls?
Yeah, I'm going Niagara Falls.
I'll take Earhart.
Okay. It is Niagara Falls.
All right.
Yeah, I made up for Pearl
So after
Harbor.
round 1, it is 2-1 to 0.
I hate this game. This is a very hard game. Breaking up with my therapist. I could use some advice on if I should find a new therapist or if I should push through and continue to work with my current therapist. For background, a lot of my work in therapy has to do...
I just want you to know, it's not me. It's you.
And it
Life
wasn't your
coach
fault.
Jake.
It wasn't your fault, Will. It wasn't your fault. For background, a lot of my work in therapy has to do with my childhood. I grew up in an abusive environment, and because of that, I have a lot of issues. Trust issues, in particular, being a major problem. Because of that, I don't expect to instantly connect with a therapist. I know building trust in that relationship is a slow process. So I've been very intentional about continuing to go to sessions and about building a relationship with my therapist, trying to push my own boundaries and being open. That being said, I've been with my current therapist for around 2 years. We see each other every other week and have consistently had sessions, adding up to 200 hours at this point. Huh. That doesn't feel like good mathing, does it? Every other week for 2 years? That's 50 weeks a year, right? So it's 25 hours a year.
It's 52.
It's 100 hours. You guys see how I did that in my head? It's pretty good, huh?
Ooh, really good.
You guys didn't know I could math, but I can math.
Still not convinced.
Even with all this time together, I still don't feel like opening up much to my therapist. Frankly, I still don't trust them. I've brought this topic up in therapy, stating my distrust and expressing my desire to open up more. And we've talked about this issue together, and I appreciate the work my therapist has done to help me with this problem. I really cannot express how much I respect them as a professional, and that I think they're doing a great job. However, I still feel stuck. The majority of our sessions are still very surface level, and I feel that I'm in the same place as when we started having sessions over 2 years ago. I know that a lot of this is a personal struggle. I just don't open up to people in general. But at the same time, part of me wonders if I'm just not a good match with this person in particular. Maybe we're just not a good fit, and I would make better progress with someone else. Here are my questions. What does a good connection with a therapist look like? What are signs that a patient and a therapist are a good match and that they're going to make progress? What are signs that it's not a good match? How should I tell when I should shop around, versus stick it out with the same provider? Any guidance would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, Anonymous.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's a really good question.
That is.
Should they drop their therapist like a bad habit?
Get out of here, fucker.
I think, I mean, they said they're basically having a hard time, like, opening up to them and having a good connection with your therapist. That's a lot of hours to not have a good connection with your therapist, is my thought.
Yeah.
And I wonder what the therapist thinks too. Like,
I like that they talked about it. That's
I know.
Cool.
I was just thinking, like, if I was in that situation, from the therapist side, I feel like I would bring it up, or, just bring it to light, like bring it to light in the session. So that's why I wonder what the other therapist or the therapist thinks. But I don't know. A good connection with a therapist, in my opinion, I mean, again, it can vary, but from the therapist perspective, I think that having the person actually open up and feel like comfortable, for me at least, I should speak from my own perspective, but if I have a client who feels really comfortable talking to me, not like a friend, but almost like that. Like,
right.
Hey, oh my gosh, this happened this week. And I can tell their guard is
casual,
down.
Disarmed.
It's a little, disarmed is a good word. Versus like, I will have one every now and then that comes in and I'm just like, sometimes like, why did you even, I know why,
right.
we have goals, but like, why did you come in? You're kind of not, talk to me. You don't want to. Yeah. And maybe it's me, or maybe it's just where you're at. I don't know. But usually I will then bring that to light and say, hey, I think Nick's mentioned this before, like kind of revisiting goals, but like, why are you here?
Right.
What keeps you coming back?
Right.
What I hear a lot, tell me if you ever hear this, I will have some clients who start, and whenever I ask that after some time has passed, maybe like 6 months, a year, and like in the beginning we worked on some stuff, but it's kind of tapering off. They'll be like, well, I just thought you knew when to like end sessions. Like you're the person who's in charge here and you know what's best. So I'll listen to whatever you say.
And that's a tricky dance.
I know.
Because I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, to some extent, some people will report to therapy, and it's like being a hairstylist and somebody sits down and you're like, so what do you want? And they're like, I trust you. You're like, what? I don't know. Then you're done. I think
that's a great
maybe
analogy.
Your hair's just fine the way it is. Like, I don't know what you want, but it is like this dance where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to tell you what I want, but you're also the hairdresser, right? So like, I trust you to tell me when we're done here and when your work is complete and like you've achieved whatever it's going to look like.
Yeah.
But of course, as the barber, the hairdresser, like that's not how it works either, right? Because I'm going to show you this in the mirror and I want you to walk out of here happy. Are you getting what you want? Are we heading in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
So it is really this collaborative process to figure out goals. And I think two things on this. On that first point of goals, and just to highlight something you had said about how to reinvigorate the conversation sometimes by bringing up goals. This goes back to something Nick chants all the time about how treatment plans are an intervention, which is a line, by the way, that I've stolen from you now, among many in my Nick Tangeman catalog. That I'm now taking credit for with my students.
Obviously,
I am Nick
very
Tangeman.
impressed. Yeah,
that's the main phrase he stole.
You're also starting to look like Nick.
So this is the Marvelous Ripley or whatever. I'm just doing that. I'm just taking your life now one by one. Yeah, but I use that bit too.
It started as just signing letters from you.
Yeah, well, it started with that.
Yeah,
I've impersonated you legally. Like, there's a lot of shit. So I agree with that. I like that point. But this actually comes back to another point. The patient here, the writer is saying, look, I know that I I struggle with this, right?
Yeah, they do.
And so I think 2 things about that. One, from the patient perspective, Ryder, the fact that you have been for 2 years trying to flex a muscle that you know is weak, believe it or not, that is incredible progress in your life. And even if you say, gosh, we haven't quite hooked up yet, I haven't gotten to this place where I can really get vulnerable and I can access things, but I've been trying for 2 years to do that, knowing that does not come naturally to me. Wow, that is tremendous to me.
Yeah.
Like if somebody is like, I still can't dunk, but for 2 years I spend an hour in the gym running as hard as I can and jumping at the net. Like,
increase my vertical, but
I'm trying. I still can't get it. I'm like, okay, but that is tremendous work on your part, and I don't see any of that as a waste. And I believe that is part of progress, and it's hard to know in life, has that expanded your emotional availability? Has it expanded your communication skills with others? Or if you don't feel like it's moved you north from the position you started in, did it prevent you from going south? Did it stop you from going backward in that skill building? Just having that constant good, positive connection and pressure could do that. I remember once I had a supervisor and when I was a new therapist and I was kind of complaining, kind of venting. I was telling about a patient I had that really just did not give me anything in session. And I dreaded this session. I would trade this one session for 10 with any of my caseload. Yeah. But this one felt like a day. Because I was, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah. And you're doing 55 minutes of talking.
Yeah.
You are volleying both
exactly
sides of this conversation. You're trying to keep up a positive spirit and
you're
provide them that
the
positive regard so that they still somehow feel liked despite not having contributed jack shit. And so like you're really trying. And I was telling the supervisor about this, like, I just feel so defeated. I feel like this sucks. I am trying rhetorical questions. I'm trying all these methods and I'm just getting stonewalled and I don't know what to do. And I just feel like I'm failing. And the supervisor said, okay, we had it was like a group supervision. So like, I knew a lot of other supervisees. And the supervisor was like, which of your colleagues do you feel could do a better job with this person?
Oh.
And I was like, none.
Tricky.
They're stonewalling me, and I'm one of the only therapists I know that can uphold 2 fucking sides of a conversation and listen to himself talk for 55 minutes and get through it.
Yeah.
And he's like, exactly. So you are the best available therapist for this patient. And the fact that you are providing the best available thing our clinic can do means that even if you don't feel like you're achieving what you want to with this person, you're achieving the best available therapy that they're capable of at this time.
Yeah.
And that was therapy.
Yeah.
You're winning the game.
One of my favorite go-tos when things maybe like kind of, what is it, peter out? Is
you married him.
I know. I was like, wait for it.
There it is.
I will ask the client sometimes in session if I've covered, like, kind of talked about the things they've mentioned they want to talk about. We've touched on like whatever their goals are. Maybe just that week it was like, oh, it was great this week. And we've even talked about why it was great. It's like, those are the hard ones where it's like, I did apply all the things from like the treatment plan. I've done that. And you aren't just like, all right, well, we're done here. Like you still have maintenance, whatever. And then there's that kind of lull. A lot of times I'll say, well, what's important for us to talk about today for you then?
Right.
I go there so often, and most of the time I will get some feedback. They'll be like, well, you know what? There was this one thing, like something kind of just
what's on your
at the
mind
back of their
lately?
mind that maybe they didn't think was important, or maybe they were like, again, come into session and say the therapist is in like control here. So they've talked about the treatment plan and our goals and all this, but that feels not important. But it might be, like we've talked about in here before, a lot of things that feel like normal conversation, we're looking at it through a different lens.
Right.
And so I've seen that every once in a while, someone will say, well, I'm not really sure. But usually after a second or a pause, the magical silence that therapists are trained to sit with.
The 7 seconds of hell.
Okay.
So long.
Sorry. Side note. Do you ever struggle with that more on virtual sessions?
Yes.
I struggle on virtual so much more. In person, I will sit.
You'll sit with the silence? I struggle with it both.
I mean, it's not like easy, but I don't mind it. In person, I'll just kind of
That's when you just
like,
need
wait
that
it
cup
out.
of coffee.
Yes, you just
so
sit
you
there,
can, like,
the long
in
sip.
the silence, just look
take
at
a
them.
drink, take some water.
Well,
Just slowly staring at him, sipping that drink.
I stare him down.
Never breaking eye contact with the camera the whole time you're sipping out of that mug. It has to be the right size mug too, so you can see over it while you're sipping out of
Yeah.
it, so you can maintain eye
constantly
contact with
staring.
the camera.
That's
Or just light a cigarette.
Oh, that's a good move.
Power move.
Yeah,
That's a good move. Yeah.
Blow it in their face.
Oh
Yeah.
man, Nick's making his own house
Yeah.
smell like cigarettes.
Yeah. Well, Nick does it with the match on the stubble too.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
pulls it right off the chin.
He doesn't have anything he needs to light. He's just lighting a cigarette.
He's just holding the match and
Or
letting
lighting
it
a
burn.
match. Yeah.
He just lets it burn into his fingers until you speak.
Oh my god.
I mean, the real crazy thing is I don't do any clinical work anymore, so now it's just in personal training. So if you can imagine lighting a cigarette up in the
Right.
gym,
Yeah, it's not appreciated.
I thought you were going to
It's
say silently staring at your clients while they're
power
doing
move.
like a workout.
As he drinks his protein
well, it's your
shake.
weight, lift it.
Yeah. Weight ain't gonna lift itself.
No, but I think one of the things that I was going to bring up too is like, you kind of mentioned like I feel like I'm not making any progress, and I think Whitney and Jim already kind of touched on this a little bit, but like that is definitely your perspective. It would be great to get an outsider's perspective on that. I mean, asking your therapist about like progress, are they seeing any progress? Or asking your family members or any friends,
That's a big
hey, have
deal,
you
yeah.
noticed anything?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's quite likely, I see this with a lot of people where like we're the last ones to notice a difference in ourselves, even when other people do. So, I mean, what does a good connection look like? That's tough. I mean,
It's so variable.
yeah.
It's so variable.
I know.
Yeah. I think like a good connection. I can think of clients that I've had in the past where I feel like I've had a good connection, and it does look different with each one of them. But I can also think of clients that I've had where I don't feel like I've had a good connection, but we had good results.
Right.
So I think connection is important, but I don't think it's the only thing either.
Yeah. It is a big ingredient in the way we generally think success will happen, but also it's such a sliding scale. And coming back to the writer, if you are telling us, I know that I do not do this well anywhere, but I've stuck to a human for 2 years. I've spent hundreds of hours and I've leaned in trying to do this, but I notice that we're still superficial. But I also know that I have childhood trauma and I am not bringing it up in here.
Yeah.
That to me is where we can get structured, right? Like I would want the patient to come to me and say something like, so Jim, I was wondering, can we revisit our goals, right? And can we kind of think about next steps? Because I have some things I think I want to work on. But this is you coming in for the haircut, right? I don't know if you're happy with your hair. And so if you just keep coming in and sitting in my chair, I'm just going to tidy you up.
You keep coming back.
You keep coming back, and I think what
You
I'm
say
doing
you
is
like
good for
it.
you. I'm just trimming you back to what I remember. But if you come in and go, hey, I really want to talk about really this radical move, I need you to bring that to me. And then if you tell me, hey, I think I have some trauma stuff. It's something that we've never really brought up. I think I've hinted at it in time. I'm nervous about it. Is that something we could work on? I want you to just be candid about that. And the fact that you were candid in this therapeutic relationship about the trust to say, look, I struggle still to trust you.
Yeah.
And that's a really good question. Like, can we be candid about the trauma and the need to discuss it when we just fundamentally lack trust?
I think that's more important than overall comfort level.
Right.
Right? Because like you have to understand that we're processing trauma. There's no one on earth that you're going to feel comfortable doing that with.
That's very true.
So it's not so much I got to find somebody who I've got a good connection with and I feel very comfortable with to process this trauma, because that person doesn't exist. We're talking about trauma.
Right.
I think that what you've got is you've got somebody who you felt at least comfortable enough to say that you still have progress. You still have things that you want to work on.
Right.
So I think that's a good step.
Well, I like the point, too, that if you realize I need to do this and this is the best therapist I've got, that's your person, right? It's like, that's it. If there's only one barber in town, that's your barber. And so if you've already got 2 years invested with this person, do you believe that you're going to have a better connection with somebody else that's going to allow you to sit down and do this work? Because at the end of the day, trauma work is done internally. The therapist is facilitating. We're really just the spotter. You're lifting the weight.
Yeah.
A lot of what you are doing when you're processing, discussing, and exploring that pain is hearing yourself and you're having this accountability person who's got like the rope tied around your waist as you plunge into the cave, and we're there to pull you out more than we're there to really go in on your behalf. Like it's you who's going in trauma work. So keep that in mind, because you're not going to find somebody that's going to do it for you. It's going to be your work. And if you just have enough trust in them that they pull you out and they know your baseline, that's enough to do trauma work, I think.
I like using what Jim said, kind of going to your current therapist and saying, you know, this is something I'm struggling with. I'm still holding back. I'm having a hard time trusting and opening up. But also I would say if you really respect and trust this therapist, like you've shared already, they may, and I've done this again here and there as needed, but occasionally I will even bring up personally, like, hey, I'm not sure that I have the skills to help you further in whatever you're dealing with. Like, not often, but if I see that, like, I've tried all the things I know to do.
It's time for a new chef in the kitchen.
Kind of. And I do have good rapport with that person, but like at the end of the day, my ethical responsibility is what is best for my client.
Yes.
So I will suggest, and usually I have a referral, knowing the client and knowing this other person, to say, maybe just, would you mind having a consultation, or like, you know, what do you think about this? I will gently approach that over some time with my client.
Absolutely.
So sometimes I just want to tell the writer, like, bringing this up with your therapist, I think naturally in society, it's so hard to bring up criticism of people that we respect, that we feel close to.
Right.
And our therapist can feel no different. It's like, hey, I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to, like,
or I don't want to, like, even how the writer framed the question of like, should I break up with them?
Yeah.
Which I love that you bring up this point of referral, because especially with trauma stuff, this comes up. And I've absolutely, because I'm a telehealth therapist. So like, I've had to recognize that the modality that I'm using is not always the best modality for certain situations.
Sure.
And then I'll go to my referral list and I'll tell them, hey, I think that we've, you know, reached kind of a spot here where we're plateauing.
Yeah.
I think there's more work for you to be doing. Or if a patient comes to me and says something to that effect of like, I feel stuck, I feel like there's more work to do, but I feel like you and I haven't been able to achieve that. And I'll take that from them. And like, hopefully colleagues out there, you should all practice receiving that. Like being able to say that, because like, that's a great opportunity to strengthen your bond and not scare this person by quitting on them or being defensive. Like, don't be petty, but to receive it and say something like, thank you for sharing that with me. I know that wasn't easy to share. I know how hard and frustrating it can feel to be stuck somewhere and feel like you're ready to make progress. And then to be able to say something that reassures them, like, just so you know, therapists are not in competition against each other.
Yeah.
We are on the same team against the problem.
Yep.
Right. And so if I have to pass the ball to one of my teammates so that they can get you further down this you know, field, we're absolutely going to do that. And I want to strategically help with that. Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that helps them feel like, okay, God, so I didn't break up with you. We're not over forever. No, not at all.
Just shifting.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I want you to do specialized work with my colleague because I feel like this person's really good at it.
Yeah.
And then when that work is completed, you guys can talk about your options. If you want to remain with them, great. If you want to return to me, that's okay. If you want to stop therapy altogether, mazel tov.
Exactly.
Go live your life.
I've seen all variations of that. Absolutely. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. It doesn't always mean you'll never see your therapist again.
No.
It doesn't mean that they'll
just
just be like,
pass
all
the
right,
ball.
bye. And now you have to do all the work. Sometimes, like, you can even ask your
Yes.
therapist, you know, do you feel like this is something we could continue moving forward in, or do you suggest anyone?
And the way you ask for that is you say, I want us to explore an open relationship.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
the language.
That's the ethical way.
A lot of
to say
people
it.
don't know that. A lot of people don't know that's how you're supposed to say it. So
Yes. That's
they're
Yes.
like, I don't want to stop
exactly what
seeing
that
you, but I
means.
want to open this relationship to other therapists.
Or just ask about bringing in a third.
Yeah, there it is. You know, just jokingly at first, but then say, but seriously,
yeah.
what if we did co-therapy? You know, just
It's an option.
This club that I know of.
this club. It has a door of a certain
In
color.
Vegas.
I want to check it out. But 2 years is a long time to be
Yeah.
engaged in, you know, doing regular work with somebody. And it's absolutely okay if you've stalled out, and that doesn't bother anybody. I think that's, you just find the next lane and you try to make some more progress. But I don't think any mature therapist is going to feel insulted by that. Hopefully they would know how to roll with that and say, absolutely, let's reframe this as a positive. Let me use this as something that I'm proud of you for your motivation and your self-advocacy. And let's also get you to somebody that gives you a fresh pair of eyes. And sometimes that just by itself is therapeutic, right? To just re-explain your journey, start from scratch, let this new therapist meet this version of you and start again. And sometimes that's really meaningful.
Yeah.
Or take a break. Take a break from therapy and see how you're doing in general and kind of size up where you're at. Maybe you realized I'm functioning pretty well without having to address this trauma. Yes, it's there. Yes, I've always kind of thought I should therapy at that, but I'm functioning fine. I don't necessarily need to. That's okay. You don't have to dig up everything in your yard, man. Like some things are just leave it there. So, or go borrow Nick's tamper for $9.95.
Nick Tamperman.
Honestly, that took us a while to get there.
Why?
I'm embarrassed.
By the way, the listeners have no idea what we're talking about because
They could pay money to find out.
No,
That's what they can do.
We're talking about it off air.
Oh, were we?
Yeah.
We were,
That wasn't
yeah.
even on the
It
Patreon?
wasn't even on Patreon.
No.
So it's
It'll be fun. Just
Join-
keep it a mystery.
join
Nick
the
owns a
host.
tamper. I'm borrowing.
Yeah.
end of
You're
story.
caught up.
That's really it.
That was 100% of the pieces. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about mini breakdowns. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Robert Browning Jr., Mintz, Kayla Lansbury, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Lib, and Heyo.
Heyo.
Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. Our next date,
Here we go.
May 10th, 1994.
I dislike this
Nick's
game.
birthday. Just kidding.
Oh,
I wish.
Buzz.
Ooh, May 10th,
Okay.
No,
1994.
I'm not even going to let you do
Yeah,
this.
I'm just
Thanks.
fascinated
He
by
said thank
what he was
you.
going to
Wow.
say, though.
I'm
That's
just
very kind.
Thank you. I didn't know what I was doing. Please,
All right.
just push me back over.
Yeah.
I'm just going
Okay.
to sit this
I'm
one
like
out.
George
Hey.
W.
Nelson Mandela sworn in as South Africa's first black president.
Jesus Christ.
Mother Teresa dies in Calcutta at age 87.
Oh, my God.
U.S. President Bill Clinton is impeached.
Oh, shit.
Mars Pathfinder lands on Mars.
Well, it was not the one I was going to say.
What was?
Yep, you're welcome.
I was going to say the Rodney King riots.
Oh, jeez. What was A?
Nelson Mandela sworn in as South Africa's first black president.
Actually, just give them all to me again.
Nelson Mandela.
Mother Teresa dies.
Uh huh.
Bill Clinton is impeached.
Uh huh.
The Mars Pathfinder lands on Mars.
Bill Clinton in
I'll take
94?
A.
Okay.
Is Nelson.
Nelson Mandela.
Clinton, shit. It would have been before his second term, and his term finished in 2000. So -4 is 96, -4 is 92. So
You
90.
said A?
I took A, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Clinton.
Okay.
I'll do Mars.
It is A. Nelson
Yeah.
Mandela is sworn in
Shit.
as South Africa's first black
I
president.
knew it was way too early for Mars. It's not Clinton. And the other one.
I was going to guess Clinton, but
What was the
then
other one?
Jim talked me out
Mother
of it.
Teresa
Mother
died.
Teresa.
Oh, yeah.
And
I knew
actually-
Mother Teresa died later than
I
that.
So
thought
I
that was
got
later
this-
because I remember
yeah,
that.
I got this
Yeah.
all on a list of historic dates. They were all pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were all within about 3 years of each other.
Oh.
Douche.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
Yep.
bad math got me to the right answer.
Woo!
Okay.
All right, Jacob's one.
July 23rd, 1935.
A day that will live in infamy.
It was also
Every day we'll live it. Okay. A. Public enemy number 1, John Dillinger, is killed by the FBI agents in Chicago. B. An airplane crashes into the Empire State Building. C. Bugs Bunny makes his debut. Or D. The Black Sox trial begins in Chicago.
You said what date?
July 23rd, 1935.
I want Bugs Bunny. And the reason for that is I remember Cartoon Network doing some kind of special thing called June Bugs. And maybe that's a reference to when he was first started in June of
Okay.
1935.
He said July, I thought.
Was it July?
Jim has Bugs Bunny.
Fuck.
What
Empire
was the
State
last
Building.
thing? I don't know what
the last
that is.
one was the Black Sox.
Oh.
This was the Chicago White Sox were accused of cheating in the World Series. So
Oh.
eight players
Okay.
basically got expelled from the
dare
Major League
you.
Baseball.
I don't think it's that. And
Get
short-
Dillinger, Empire State
Dillinger.
Building,
I just
or
watched
Black
something
Sox.
on Dillinger the other day, but I couldn't hear it. It was just on the video, like in an office I was waiting in.
Did
I
they
would've-
flash any dates on the screen?
No, that's why I'm annoyed. I feel
Bad
like it would
editing.
have been after that though, because there was like footage of him, but old. I'll say Dillinger just for funsies though.
Okay.
I don't remember.
35?
1935, yes.
Man, that feels too late for almost everything on there.
Well, definitely Bugs Bunny. It feels too late.
Yeah,
well,
it feels too late for Bugs Bunny.
Shut up.
It feels too late for...
It feels too early for the socks.
Also, everybody knows Bugs Bunny was first aired in June.
God
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. We know that now.
Yeah. Because they do a whole June Bugs thing on Comedy Central.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
What was the fourth one? Isn't there a fourth one I'm missing?
That was the Black Sox.
Yeah,
that
Black
was
Sox.
the Black Sox. Okay.
I'm between Black Sox and Dillinger. I guess I'll take Black Sox.
Okay.
I don't... fuck it. I'll stick with Black Sox.
No one got the right answer.
It was Dillinger.
no, I said Dillinger.
Oh, you said
Yeah.
Dillinger.
An airplane crashed into the
airplane
Empire State
crashed.
Building.
Damn.
Oh, I thought you had taken the other one. I thought
That's
Dillinger
why I couldn't
and-
remember the fourth one. I was like, what was the fourth one?
Yeah.
That was the
I
airplane.
feel that the way trivia should work in this studio is that if
We write
they
it down.
don't get it right, I get a point by default.
Why do you feel
Why?
that way?
I think we all know that that's correct. Like, I should just automatically... You should be
Unless
trying
it's
to
science.
just get it, and
You
I should just be
have-
trying not to get it too wrong.
You have the highest degree.
I used to.
Ooh.
You earned the highest degree in the room.
I used to have one.
You used to have
It's gone.
You lost it in a bet.
Yes.
But you did earn the highest degree in the room.
Mr. Joe.
But it
now.
wasn't
Go
in
fuck
history.
yourself.
It wasn't in history.
It didn't do me any goddamn good.
Yep.
None of these fucking trivia. Also, I hate this trivia, just for the record.
I know.
Super clear.
I know.
This trivia is a shit burger. All right.
When's our
mini
reality TV
breakdowns.
trivia?
Oh, that would be a whole. Somebody make us reality TV
I'm
show
still
trivia.
gonna fail, but
Oh,
it's fun.
oh.
Trash TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you'll just hear me be like, nope.
No, Whitney will just be dunking on us.
Maybe. We'll find
The
out.
garbage TV.
There are a couple of reality TV shows that I could probably hit them
What,
pretty
like
good.
Jersey Shore? Like
Yeah, Jersey
Yes!
Shore,
Yeah.
Joe.
Please do Jersey Shore. Okay.
That would actually be really great.
No, there are a couple of like the competition reality shows that we watch, like some of the
do you watch
cooking
like
ones.
Oh,
Survivor? Or
No,
something?
but like some of the cooking ones.
Have you ever seen
Oh.
Is It Cake on Netflix?
Oh my God.
I've seen the ads for it.
Yes,
I fucking
Is It
love
Cake?
that show.
Oh, and SJ and I definitely watch the shit out of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
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 Oh, that's a
good
solid one.
Even then, though,
Sissy
like I
That
can't remember
Walk.
the names.
I
Yeah,
know.
that doesn't matter.
Real
All that matters is
Housewives.
RuPaul. Mini breakdowns. Hey guys, I go by she, her. I recently stumbled across your podcast and love how it feels like a little safe haven on the internet. So I have a question of my own. Sorry, it's long. I've noticed that I frequently break down over the tiniest things. For example, last week I cried after finding out I couldn't pick up the skirt I had planned to wear that evening for a dinner as the tailor closed his shop early. The skirt or dinner wasn't even significant to me. I know I sound overdramatic and spoiled, but that's really not my mindset at all. Another time was when I arrived pretty late to family dinner, which is completely my fault, and received a text from my mom just as I walked in reading, "Don't even bother coming. It's so disrespectful and embarrassing. Just disappointed." I completely broke down in tears in front of my relatives and rushed to the bathroom to calm myself down, just to sob and hyperventilate even more.
Oh, is that like a thing where you got the message once you were already in the room?
Walked in the room.
And then like is mom on the other side of the room going, maybe don't read that right now?
No, cancel. Just unsend.
Or is mom over there just going like, yeah, read your fucking text message.
Yeah,
staring
glaring at you.
Staring daggers. Just a few days later, a normal conversation with my dad ended with him commenting on my work ethic and achievements being subpar compared to my peers, and I just started sobbing, unable to catch my breath. You get the gist. My parents aren't usually like that, and we generally get along fine. Both instances might have been slightly harsh, but they were just a few comments, and sometimes, like the skirt incident, it's not triggered by criticism. It's like I'm overly sensitive to negative experiences, and my emotions go from 1 to 100 in seconds. My friends think that this could have been panic attacking. I understand emotional dysregulation doesn't always have to be pathological in nature, but I just have no idea what could be the reason and how to manage it. Your advice is so appreciated. Thank you, Anonymous.
Is that a common thing with
I was
panic attacks?
just I was going to say, wait, this isn't normal for you.
Wait a minute. Yeah, this is...
Be over here like, what? I feel personally
emotional
attacked.
reading
I feel
I
like Whitney should tackle this one.
know. No, I want to hear Nick first.
Stoic Nick. Yeah, let's
That's
hear
why I
about
can't wait.
the guy who doesn't relate to anything he just read.
I know Nick's like,
Spock. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
pretty
on.
much. It's-
You humans
That's not-
and your frailty fascinate me.
I literally like coming coming home from the airport just last week, which is why I missed the episode, but I left a like grocery sack in the airport that I was carrying with me, and I didn't realize it till I got home. It had like just everything replaceable, but one was like a Christmas gift a family member gave me, like a little hat, and like I had pictures of my like nieces and nephews in there, and I just left it, and I was like, got home, wasn't there, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Like, you're just like, why did I leave that bag there? For no reason.
I was unpacking my office this weekend.
It didn't even matter.
I had a box of knickknacks, and it was raining, and I walked outside with the box, and it slipped out of my hands, and the knickknacks broke on the sidewalk.
Yes.
And one of them was a coffee mug that my daughter got me when she was like
I would lose
4 years old for Father's Day. And in front of the movers, I started bawling.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
was
relate.
like, no,
that would be me.
My coffee mug.
Well, so what I was thinking was it's definitely anxiety. When I was reading that, I was like, this poor girl.
We're all just pussies. That's the
I
problem.
know. But Nick's question was, is that normal for a panic attack?
Yeah, I mean, is that like I'm not familiar with that as being like linked to panic necessarily.
I was going to ask Jim that because I didn't.
The man
That's
who
not
lives
my
with it.
understanding.
Yeah.
I would say, gosh, I mean, it seems adjacent.
Or is this more like
Yeah.
anxiety than
Yeah.
panic?
Oh, definitely not panic. Yeah. So
Yeah.
panic
Yeah.
disorder is a physical reality that isn't really related to context or cognition. So it's not about your perspective. It's just physically hitting you like a train. That's panic
So
disorder.
you feel like you're dying.
Right. And really the only help we can give you is usually like benzodiazepines or antihistamines to just biochemically stop it.
Yeah,
So to
'cause
answer the
it's
question,
not-
is this a panic attack?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I
sound
would
like
say
it.
no.
Maybe adjacent to anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I could see.
I could see something similar to that. I mean, because in each of these situations, the person is probably cognating the situation in a distorted way, probably quite fast. You know, like the skirt, I'm not going to have my skirt for this dinner. It's not a special dinner. It's not a special skirt, but this is what I anticipated wearing. And like my stress threshold is very low and like my stress tolerance is very low. And so, oh no, I'm catastrophizing whatever this is. And, but it's interesting because I'm not hearing them. I assume that there's some amount of catastrophizing going on or some other cognitive distortion, like with mom being mad at you, like you're wrong sizing that emotionally very quickly.
So that was my thought too, is like, you know, my first question kind of goes to like, okay, so this event happened. What does this event mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you dropping your daughter's mug, it's broke.
Don't bring it up.
What that means is it
Emotional.
means that that's gone now.
It was
you
this
know?
cute little purple mug with these
Yeah.
two little girl genies on it.
This isn't about you. I'm using it as an example.
It had a spoon built into it.
No one gives a
Too
shit.
late, Nick.
Just
You
kick
brought
me
it
while
back
I'm
up.
down,
I know.
Jacob.
I knew what I
You're
was
a
doing.
monster.
Yeah.
But so
I'm
like,
glad that mug is gone.
Sounds
terrible.
He twists the knife.
I bet the art on it was pretty shitty.
The salt.
maybe if she would have worked a little harder, maybe she would have had some kind of non-slip surface on it.
That's right.
Way to think ahead.
Yeah. Come on. Put the thing together right.
Looks like a child drew on it anyway.
You call this art?
So like that, like I get that, and then it's like, so there's part of this is like that is like, okay, well, what is the meaning that I'm giving this? Is the meaning like, is that does that make sense within the
Right.
context, or am I distorting this to be a much bigger thing than what it really is? That could be part of it. And the other thing that I was thinking too is like, maybe it's not necessarily an issue of like the meaning that I'm giving the event. Maybe it's more like the last straw, like the straw that broke the camel's back, where it's
Sure.
like, I'm dealing with all this stress in all these other areas of my life, and then this thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that happens quite often with a lot of people where we just live stressful lives. And it's like this one thing happens, and then we're like, wow, why was my reaction to this one thing so big?
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, we're not taking it within context of everything else that was happening.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't that one thing. Maybe it was just, you know, a compilation of multiple things.
Or a mixtape, one might say.
Yeah, the mixtape.
many
There you
things.
What's
go.
a
Yeah.
mixtape?
You're a child. you're a
I've
child.
I've
to
never
me.
heard of these things
mixtapes.
you call mixtapes.
I don't bring this up often, but just to like square the circle here, you might want at some point to maybe check in with a homeopathic physician and maybe request a panel on like hormones and just kind of do some blood work on that.
It's a great idea.
I think it could be relevant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, it's probably not that. But I certainly have met people where they did some hormone
Go ahead, cross it
paneling.
off the list at the very least.
Honestly, yeah. And I've met people that have found like, oh my God, like it turned out this was going on. And then it's like, yeah, these are symptoms that can happen when this hormone's out of balance. Like, oh, wow, well, that absolutely happens. And so, okay.
You threw me off a little bit when you said homeopathic.
I
Me
was
too.
about to be
That's
very surprised
Yeah.
by
Gives
this.
Gives you
And
some
then,
crystals.
Yeah, that's
You don't,
what I was
I
thinking.
know.
yeah, you don't have to, I mean, it doesn't have to be homeopathic, but in Las Vegas, the only physician I have met who was interested in doing a full panel on hormones
they tend to do
happened
that.
to have been a homeopathic. Like they were absolutely a licensed physician. They were an MD. They just
The only
had
people
a practice
recommend that
was,
will be
yeah.
those, is my
They were,
opinion.
and I gave that doctor a lot of credit. Like that doc was really like asking questions about nutrition with their patients, and they would really take the time to be like, what does your diet look like? How much water are you actually drinking? And like, you know, no doctor ever gives a shit about any of that.
No,
I just read
and-
recently that your body gets worse at sending like your thirsty signals to your brain
Huh.
the older you get.
Is that why I'm not as horny as I used to be?
Let's just say yes.
Okay.
So we don't have to talk about it.
Right.
That makes sense. I'm much less thirsty. It's
Yeah.
weird. I just,
No, it's funny you say
not asking for those pics
not the
anymore.
last part, but the part about like nutrition and stuff, because that was one of the things when I had my little mini breakdown about a bag left at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things I went to is I've been traveling for 3 days, which means
Right. I'm
my
exhausted.
diet. I'm tired. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. I'm exhausted, which I have like a 3-day limit. By day 3, if I haven't slept well, I'm just a different human. It's like not night.
Man, I could still do a day. I could still do like I don't sleep for a night. I can get through the whole next day and I'm still like pretty fucking close to 100%.
Okay.
Next day, if I don't get good sleep that second night,
Yeah.
I'm like I notice it.
Yep.
That fourth day though.
That's what I'm saying.
After
The
that third
3
night
full day,
of,
yeah.
after 3 like full nights of either no sleep or bad sleep, I'm with you.
That is me.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
really
day 4,
interesting.
I am just fucked.
Yes, I'm like,
I'm like,
I
I'm
will
not
yell
good for
at
anything.
people. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like,
Don't ask me to do complicated things.
Thank you. I
See,
can't,
that's what's really
Jacob, can you
interesting.
program this? No.
I don't have,
Maybe tomorrow.
I don't have that reaction. Like I can go 3 days with literally no sleep, and there's no change in me, but everybody else is fucking irritated.
Weird.
that is
really
crazy.
stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Ask me
understand.
stupid questions.
I don't understand what
Shut
that
the
has
fuck
to do
up,
with
Nick.
my
No.
sleep. How my sleep patterns throw
I'm like
the
that on
entire
a
world
camping
off.
trip. Like the first
Yeah.
night, I'll sleep on the ground. It's shit. I don't sleep at all.
Yeah, push
I can
through.
wake up and just be like, fuck it. I basically didn't sleep, but put on the happy face.
Yeah.
It's, it's for the kids. The second night, though, 2 nights on the cold ground, just
Don't
fucking
talk to
tossing
Uncle
and turning.
Jim.
Yeah.
Fuck everybody. I don't want to be here. I'm just like,
If anything,
don't
like
wanna do
for big events, like I've got, I'm going down to Austin next week for the
Oh,
eclipse
yeah.
for, and I'm going to
I'm gonna be
Brian
in
Brushwood's.
Louisiana next
nice.
week. Yeah.
But going to Brushwood's compound and doing the big eclipse event there, and like the day I fly in is not the eclipse day, but a couple days before the eclipse, I'm going to be flying on like 2-3 hours of sleep. So I'm doing the early flight after a late night the night before, maybe 2 hours actually at the most. And like that day, I'm just going to be a crazy person.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be a lot of fun to be around that day.
You'll be fine.
Like everybody's going to be happy, and I'm going to crash out hard that night. And if I don't, then the next day I'm going to be
Watch out.
dramatically less fun.
Yes, I like that. Dramatically less fun.
timer
Yes.
has. So yeah,
People are gonna be like,
stuff
man,
can
yesterday
matter."
Jacob he was a great guy to be around yesterday, and here
What
we are
happened?
today.
Do you
Yeah,
notice
and
that
all it
Jacob's
takes is-
more of a dick today? Yeah, I did notice that.
Well, and
it's
all it takes is
definitely
like
worse.
the bed you're staying in. Oh, it's uncomfortable. It's hot.
Right.
It's whatever. And it's like, no, I'm screwed. And the next day is going to be terrible. But yeah, I did think, I was
just
like,
cuddle
I
with
wonder.
Brian.
Oh, then it's comfy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely thought, I was like, how much is going on within me because that is unusual behavior, right? You're like,
Yeah.
wow, why am I so upset about something so small? Not my child's mug that they made for me, but
Again, we got to bring this up.
Which wasn't that nice.
but yeah,
I
I
wish
like
I
the
had taken
bio
a
stuff.
picture of it.
Can I just say, I'm not trying to create a problem where there's not, because I hear you say like, oh, it's fine. My parents aren't normally like this, and they just made these comments like kind of off the cuff or however you worded it. I was personally offended by those comments that they made. Like, what the hell? You mean you're not living up to your potential like your peers? Like, shut the fuck up. I don't know. I was just
took those to
offended.
mean like kind of defending the parents a little bit and just saying like maybe parents had kind of bad days those days. That's how
Maybe
I
that's not
understood
the
that,
average.
but
I don't
it might
know.
not be correct.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Sometimes I've been thinking about this lately. I sometimes think that your parent parents come up a lot in therapy, right? And like
Yeah.
we constantly, usually you will hear things like, oh, I have some kind of animosity or resentment about this person. Sometimes they've been critical of me. And I think a lot of times we just kind of wipe those tears and like help people work through that or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like I'm so glad you have that one person in your life that is disappointed in you and tells you that. Because like your friends won't do that necessarily. They'll just stop talking to you. You know, your potential lovers or romantic partners, maybe they just ghost you. People will walk away from you.
You
Like,
were right.
Sometimes,
Jim, I am disappointed in you.
thanks, buddy. You know, sometimes
Now I know
like
how to
the
win
only
Jim's heart.
person that will just level you in this, and hopefully an ethical, responsible way, is the parent.
Right.
And sometimes that is parenting. I'm not saying that's what's wrong with the right. I'm just saying
That's fine. You can have that
macro.
opinion.
Sometimes that one voice that's like okay, a parent coming to you
we
and be
missed
like,
you last
"You're
week."
capable." Okay, I'm going to win you over on this. A parent coming to you in high school and being like, "You're not achieving the grades that you're capable of, and I expect more."
That's different than saying you're not achieving what your peers are achieving.
Is it? I mean, I feel like
Yes. No, what
similar.
someone's capable of is
like
different.
your friends are doing better than you in school, and I think you're smarter than.
Is
your
that not
friends.
different? Like you being compared to your friends
Don't
versus
look to him
you-
for sympathy. He's way worse about this than me. I am the diet version. Whatever you
Nick,
hear me
let's
saying,
go.
he is 5 steps to the left of me.
No, because
Oh, I
those are
promise
two
you he
different
is.
things.
Oh,
like
I like this.
Like
No, I promise that's not.
I agree
Fight
with you.
over me.
Yeah.
Nick.
For
No.
the record, Jim is referring to Nick right now.
Yeah, not Jacob.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Nick
Jacob's
is the
not that
him in
far.
this sentence.
I feel like I'm to the right of both of them on this issue. Like they are both.
I'm not even sure what left and right
I don't know
connotate
either.
this- in this-
They are more severe than I am. I am more like, permissive, and they were more like, no, you fucking suck, and you need to be told that you fucking suck, and you're welcome.
Let me know. I'm gonna reach out to your
No,
kids in a decade. I
I-
can't wait.
Actually, I need to book you now for that. If we
Okay,
could just go,
thanks.
can I gift card?
Thanks, yes.
Can I start?
We'll
like-
just pay it forward.
Yeah, can I
you
like
know.
do a pay now tuition rate? Okay,
Yep,
great.
a
Whitney, you don't want to do
Lock
that because in like in 10 years that
I'm gonna get
inflation's
my
gonna
money
be-
out of you.
You're
I'm gonna
right,
get that
you're
money.
right.
You don't
Yeah.
want to lock him in at that rate now.
That's true. That's very true.
No, I do have to agree with Whitney on this one. I think
It's because I got
there
the
is-
cigars.
It does.
So you
not
didn't
hard.
like the gift? You don't want to go to the Kiss fucking
It's
museum?
not,
and
it's not no factor.
Kiss fucking-
Wow.
But no, but I do like. It is one thing to have parents that do say things like, "Hey, you've got potential,
Right.
but you're not meeting that potential.
Yeah.
You are not doing what you're supposed to be doing." Like, I totally get that. The peer comparison that would bother me.
No,
if I
this
heard
sounds
that.
this sounds severe
Wow.
at the very least.
Fuck Jim. Let's just all gang up on Jim. Yes. Fuck all of you.
I just don't understand why you didn't have your hands underneath the
Oh,
box. You knew
God
it was-
damn it. And I'm so upset.
You knew it was. You knew it was raining.
No.
You knew it was going to be slippery.
Okay, so you know how you can fold the box in that weird like Nazi symbol to get it to lock the panels
Yeah,
together?
we all know that. Yeah.
So
That's
I
what
did
I refer
that,
to
but I underestimated. I just assumed that would hold the weight, and it did not. So like, the bottom fell out.
Wait, you just did that to the bottom
I
of it?
didn't tape it. I just did that.
You're an idiot.
He tried to drop it.
I really thought it would be fine.
There was part of you that
Oh.
wanted to drop that mug.
Oh no! Don't.
There was a
God
major
damn
part
it.
of you that was just
God
done with that fucking
damn
mug.
it!
Jacob's there.
Fucking psychoanalyzing me. Also, now you're gay. You're lusting after your mom, Jim. That's why you dropped that fucking.
No, I'm sorry. So I did go on a tangent there about like the parents' comments, but I guess just to validate that those to me were hurtful comments or hurtful way to say something that
Certainly.
they could have said differently. Like they can still have that opinion. Maybe they're not wrong. You even admitted I was not on time. That was my fault. And they could have said like, "Hey, what kept you? Like we've been waiting." And that still sends the message, we're a little bit annoyed, like
Right.
whatever else. Or where are you? We've been waiting for 30 minutes. You know, that still sends a similar message as this is so disappointing and you're
Right.
rude and like, oh my
Well, it's
gosh.
curious that the parents were as abrasive as they were when you know that your daughter is very fragile and will like cry in the bathroom for an
Sensitive.
hour. Like a little dab will do it. You know, just maybe a little
know.
nudge. Like disappointed emoji. Like that probably would have been fine.
All you got to say is something along the lines of, you probably meant to drop that mug.
So here's another thought. When it comes to people being extra sensitive, I wonder how much of the 0 to 100 comes from trying to put up that strong, like, outer face, like almost that mask throughout the day. And it comes with stress, like Nick said. Maybe you're carrying a lot on your plate and you're like, everyone else, all my peers can do this. They can juggle 9 different things. Why can't I?
Sure.
So then you're trying to juggle all these things, and the straw that's breaking the camel's back is like, gosh, you couldn't even be on time to dinner. And you're just like, oh my gosh,
that's it.
I'm sensitive. And so I guess what I've seen sometimes with clients is almost giving them permission to be sensitive might keep you from building up and it spilling over, like the cup spilling over, and just saying, yeah, I need to go to the bathroom and cry.
Yep.
And like, I'm going to go do that, rather than like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal, and like letting it expand in your mind. But sometimes I think embracing, or I guess some would say like radically accepting, I'm just a sensitive person, sort of helps simmer the sensitiveness, or like spread it out more, where it's like, all right, I'm having a moment here or a moment there, rather than I've got to push all these moments down. And then when my mom makes a comment that's hurtful, I'm like overflowing at a family function. So I don't know.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Although, maybe try not being late, Jim.
I wrote the letter. It was me.
We know.
That
Did
damn
it say
skirt
she,
wasn't
her?
ready when I picked it up.
I go by she.
I go by she, her now. I was trying to throw the scent off.
I get it.
So anyway, I'm not a podcast host, not a therapist, and definitely a chick. One time I didn't get a skirt. It's like me trying to just mimic women.
Be great.
This sounds
I really wanted that
suspicious, Jim. I don't know. No, I wanted the
Sounds like
skirt
something a
and
guy would say.
ponytails. I wanted the in my hair.
Just call me Jamitha.
Jemima.
As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you can sign up at patreon.com/therapy. You can get the extended show ad-free a day early and enjoy our live weekly chat, or our live chat Discord community, as well as our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. And as this episode releases this week, Nick, you had a Patreon installment. What was our topic on?
Well, most importantly, it was on time.
Number
one.
Damn it.
Damn.
How many of your gifts that your children made for you did you break?
Oh, there it is. You know what, Tangeman?
I'm
Climb way up on that high horse. Just get real comfortable, because you will choke before I do. It's gonna be you.
Oh, I mean, I finished recording it at like 12:01, so I'm not gonna. It was fresh. Okay.
There was heat coming off that.
Yeah,
track.
I'm not gonna lie about that. No, I did a deep dive. Thank you, Taternator, for the suggestion. A deep dive on the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and how it kind of fits in with treatment. So,
okay,
cool.
Yeah.
Very
Did a
cool.
little breakdown of that.
Yeah, reminder, we have a channel in the Patreon for suggestions, and you can always kick us topics and questions in there that you wish that we would do a deeper treatment
Do
on.
we have a suggestion box?
We do. It's called Suggestion Box.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a channel in the Discord.
I have never looked.
It's very useful.
Probably not very effective
Yeah,
if
no, it's
I've never
full.
seen it.
It's full. It's got tons of ideas in there.
Yeah, but it only goes to you, apparently, because
well, no,
I never
you're
look at
dumb. You don't know how to click the fucking links.
I mean,
didn't
we
even know it was
all
there.
have access to it.
I will not let Nick take the high ground on tech. Like, no, he doesn't fucking turn on computers. He doesn't know what he's doing. So I will not take.
Yeah,
any
I'm
of
not.
that
I'm
shit.
at least not over here saying I don't know how to get into the Discord.
You know how to do it. It's a choice.
Son of a bitch, look at that suggestion box.
Yeah, bro, that's been there for like 2 years. People just randomly drop stuff in there. Also, there's a section called A Block where people just drop like really cool articles and like research that they've been finding.
Okay.
So yeah, the Discord's awesome.
Oh, look at
So,
that.
yeah, check that out. March Madness announcements, as we did in the Patreon. I guess that we're just announcing it here again.
Oh, I just keep forgetting to take it off.
Oh,
there.
that's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Whitney's losing. She's buying us all sushi.
Yeah.
She's bad at choice.
So
I think it's even
Yeah.
locked, right? Like she's definitely.
Yeah,
I think
like
she's done.
She's definitely buying
she's
sushi,
absolutely
No one's
done.
winning.
Isn't that what you said,
I
Nick?
believe
Yeah.
so.
And,
Yeah.
and the three of us are just
Start
competing for a
saving.
gentleman's victory. I think that's
Yeah.
all that is at this point. So
Oh, I am not.
you don't give a shit.
Jacob, I'm just here for the sushi.
I'm just here for the sushi.
We want to thank those of you who support the show at patreon.com/therapy. We've got some new TheraPals to thank, Nick. Who are they?
Yeah, Edgar Allan Ho, welcome to the party.
Oh, welcome back. I used to love that one.
Outstanding.
That's a great name.
And Miles Reeder.
Nice.
Reader.
And who are our new TheraPods, Whitney?
Why did you do this to
I
me?
assume you had the script up. I don't know.
I do.
You're like, I don't have anything to do
I
for the next
do.
20 minutes.
I'm like,
We're good.
I'm on your Discord notes. Scoop.
Whitney's making suggestions on Discord.
Fire Jim. Fuck this guy.
Scoop. Is it Jesus or Jesus?
I want to say Jesus.
I think it's Scoop Jesus.
I think it's just
Jesus?
Scoop Jesus.
Definitely
Okay.
Scoop Jesus.
Knowing the scoops, it's Jesus.
Ray J Shark. That's what I was wondering.
That's-
I was
that's
like,
100%.
is this real? Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome to both of you.
Yes.
Reminder to TheraPals that stopped getting all of my Patreon feeds and been wondering where the fuck it went. Yeah, your free ride's over. Get over to the Therapod level and get
Yeah.
your shit back.
It's the first of the month.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month. Get
So-
up, get up, get up. Robert Paulson, Polygon, Colin Scoopstronaut, Richard Bruins, Linda Brandmeier, Corey Owens, Joseph Pangrazio, Christine Phillips, Gavin Bristow, Carrie Terhark, Stacy Westerland, Tracy Replogle, Scoopy Jess, Kiwi Fruit Scoop, James K, Chelsea Saracen, Craig Little, Don Dor, Jim Hunter, Take It Easy Podcast, Adam Rabiznik, Brooks Lyle, Todd Canfield, Felicia Butler, David Sorensen, Shayla Bullock, Scoopatron, Lauren Izzo in the Hizzo, Stacy Coleman, Adam Petanuzzo, Matt Lenegren, Scoopator, Ascending, Ian Soto, Jessica Cyphers, That Josh Guy, Lee Popsicle, Dr. Scoop Little, Mama Ninja Scoop, James Dawson, Colson Morrow, Sarah Olo, Grumpy, Lakemead Park Ranger, Sam Buck, Karen McCulloch, Megan Smith, What Weekend, Some Nobody, Lila, Be Gay, Do Crimes, Kelly Gagner, BP, Nippy, Brian Emra, Drew Helligy, Alec Lancaster, Matthew Johnson, A Literal Pickle, Matthias Vandebrandt, James Hubble, Max the Ginger Scoop, Ken Tinsley, Andres Saavedra Molina, Water Girl, Stacy, Protect and Scoop, Anon Nurse, Jim Mills, Smells Funny, Julius Capel, Brady Malachek, Matt Kubik, Chad the Safety Lad, Walker, Fluke, Philip Guyton, Tim Mystery, Almost Dr. Nurse Joy, Duffy, the Slowly Getting Their Therapist Bear, Kierkegaard, Irvin Santon, Tisha Ortiz, Lenny, Joel McMillan, Melissa L. Geisler, Christopher DeGursey, Chris Conway, Kirsten Johnson, DJ Seward, Mississippi Hippie, Scott A, Fifi, Laura B, Eli, Heather W, Patty Glad, Kyle, Todd V, Anthony Camerata, Freya Lawson, David Williams, Kate Palise, JoBeth R, Bowers, Mark Orelena, Buddy Dobbins, Eric Dyer, Emma Kane, Susie Kathleen, Glitch Scoop, Adam Warren, Trontastic, Aletta Balaz, Stephen Landon, Shai Ruparel, Adam Balez, Alina, Kenneth Wong, John Finlayson, Kay Pizzle Dizzle, Robert Cole, Temporary Reality, Jeff Darnell, Tasha Rachel Rikowski, Jacob Hurt, Syncitium, Ray J. Shark, Persephone Hazard, Silka Daniels, Nathan Mookie, Jenny Rose, Jacob Billingsley, Scoop, Jesus. What does Scoop mean? James J., Alex Jardine, Anna Ivanovich, yeah, nailed it, and Juan Monterrey. You killed my father, prepare to die.
Pterodactyls. Do we say those next?
Yep.
Okay, sure.
Get him, Whitney.
I'm like, yay. I'm like, can I jump in there? Ice Blue Scoop, Brian Lehman, Scoop Brady, Fred Bishara Jr., Andrea Anderson, Scoop Lindsay, Frozen Cusser, Lori Ellsroth, Robert Ward, Seishonagon, wow, Okie Scoop, Dank Butta, Andrew Langmead, Lovely Spark, TKO.
I love
Yo,
it
yo,
when
yo.
she imitates things that we've
That y'all
randomly
do.
made up.
Yes. I have to now.
They just become culture now.
It's the way it's done.
That is correct. We'd like to thank the benevolent, revered, generous, and flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much that they give till it hurts.
Yes.
That they're partners. Thank you, Dirty B. Thank you, Myra. And thank you, Pickett.
Thank you.
And we want to thank our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, the Ther Producers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie, Jr. Mint, Smitty Scoop, Ben Don, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lansbury, Mrs. and Mr. Hot Dog Scoop, Malia, Leon Kassab, winner of Fantasy or March Madness as it would appear, Mason Miller, Richard Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley slapping your face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Mike Helm, Paris, Samantha Cohn, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder Cougar Falcon Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, Heyo, Oscar Swanrose, Sunny Boy, Slurpee Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Dan Martin, and Hannah Marie.
If you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our
We missed that.
Texas and enjoy
does
our
say that.
spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy, and thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. I want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast. Go to scoopfest.com.
Yeah.
Join the shenanigans in May in fabulous Las
be great.
Vegas, Nevada. And tag us on the socials. Why the hell not? Find us wherever the hell the socials are. Who cares? Also, don't forget at patreon.com/therapy. You can get extra cool shit. Pay money for it. It's fun.
Okay. And do you want to submit a question to the show? I think you should.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah,
ask
that's good.
anonymously at
it.
podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangent.
I'm Jim.
I'm
just
Whitney.
Jim.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next
Just
week.
Jim.
Jim, the
Mr.
former
Jim.
doctor. Yeah, just Mr. Just that guy.
He didn't go to doctor in school for 4 years to be called Mister.
I am
and
going to
yet
bring you the doctor.
He is.
I will bring you it for your bar for Scoop Fest.